Here recovering still. Had a funny afternoon yesterday. I was not feeling too good and I laid down around 4:30 and fell asleep until 4 o'clock this morning. So the low iron and the ferritin and transferritin saturated is 12, which is normally 20, the lowest. So that means your iron is not taking, the blood cells are not working around the body healing, but that's all right. I'm seeing the hospital early next month, and I can do is rest. But I always show you nice stories. And today I'm thinking, do we question a lot of stuff? We tend to question. Some people don't question, they just do as they're told, and they follow tradition without questioning. Sometimes out of respect, and others out of, it's a big question in my head. Why don't you question things, Even if someone tells you something doesn't mean it is. And the people waiting to hear confirmation of why we're here. We're here because we're part of nature. We're here. Some people are religious. I'm not religious. I don't follow religion, but we're part of a much bigger ecosystem. And one of those ecosystems are in Australia. Some of the 7 wonders of the world, they call it. We've got the Great Barrier Reef. We've got the Daintree, which is absolutely amazing, up in Cape Tribulation. I had photos, I've been there, I had videos, but all is lost, because there's different years. I don't know, back in the day we didn't have, photos on phones as much as we actually took the cameras out. We used to go outside back in the early 90s and 2000, we'll take photographs instead of our phones, But yeah, there's beautiful memories. Hello, Leo. How you going? What time is it there? Because we're hitting out at 11 here. And there's a part of Australia that is absolutely stunning. There are many parts. And instead of talking about crime and drama, it's good to talk about what made you, what memories made you. G'day, Cartoon Hub. How you going? Sometimes memories make you heal, when you go back into a memory, or they changed you. I'm not bad, Cartoon Hub. Actually, I had like a 10-hour sleep. So it's weird. I'm recovering from female reconstruction surgery about 4 months ago. I had a tumor inside my femur, inside the very top part of the leg. They don't know how it got there, but apparently when you're young, when you're in the wound, it forms some gene mutation. And I found out I had pain in my leg when I was 53, and then it took a couple of years and tests. But I think, sometimes when you're relaxing, g'day, chill 18, and you have to be not moving, when you used to run and play tennis or very active and you're unwell, you got to find other things to make you happy. You can't just be upset, feeling sorry for yourself all the time. But sometimes you're allowed to feel sorry for yourself, and you're allowed to cry, and you're allowed to feel like crap, being a woman or a man, So it's night time for you guys in some parts of the world. So I'm going to show you a little bit a documentary about the Great Barrier Reef. It's absolutely stunning, actually, but it's been bleaching itself somehow. It's a funny always nice to say hello, and show my face if it's good with makeup, head done or no head done, But here we go. there.
Ningaloo, where a sparkling turquoise sea washes into the red earth. And below, a kaleidoscope of marine life. It's photographer Brooke Pike's favourite place to be.
Just the vibrancy of the colours, the diversity of coral species, the beautiful fish that live amongst all those organisms.
But now, Ningaloo is using its treasured colours to send out an SOS.
Everything was just completely white. It was very stark. It was an entire shock to our systems when we dived down on a reef that we are so familiar with. Some of the worst coral bleaching I've ever seen in my life.
The widespread coral bleaching is due to an intense marine heat wave that struck northwestern Australia late last year.
We were seeing some locations along the Western Australian coastline, including Ningaloo, as high as 4 degrees warmer than they should be. For a coral, it is the difference between having a normal temperature versus having a raging fever.
Until now, Ningaloo and other WA reefs have mostly avoided major bleaching events.
But this time we've now seen every reef in Western Australia bleach in a single event.
James Gilmore from Australia's Institute of Marine Science says it's the first time 2 World Heritage reefs on opposite sides of the country were hit simultaneously.
There is no doubt that this is the worst that WA has experienced, and when you combine it with the Great Barrier Reef, it's the worst bleaching event in Australia's history.
We actually couldn't find a mooring that could hold.
A few months on, we've come to Ningaloo to meet molecular ecologist Kate Quigley for an underwater tour of one of the worst hit areas.
Oh yeah, Australia is so beautiful. The north is amazing.
Bleaching doesn't always mean death, but early surveys on this section of reef estimate mortality of up to 60%.
We're kind of all waiting with bated breath on those exact numbers, but given what we know about the relationship between coral health and warming, it's unlikely to be good.
There are patches of reefs that are good, and we can swim around and we can see some live corals in areas that we know that at least in the next few years will replenish the others. The reefs are very resilient, nature is very resilient, but of course if you keep hitting it with impacts then it can't recover, right? So, and that's the situation if it happens every couple of years.
A healthy reef doesn't just make for pretty pictures, it's critically important for both ecological and economic reasons. Just ask anyone who lives in the tourist town of Exmouth, synonymous with snorkelling on Ningaloo.
Definitely has the potential to affect our business. I mean, our business is centred around looking at essentially coral and fish.
Craig Kitson runs a glass-bottom boat tourism business. While some operators prefer not to draw attention to the bleaching, Craig says it's vital people see what's happening.
I think it's more important now that people connect with the place more than ever and come and see that this isn't something happening in some far-off country. This is happening in our backyard.
So Western Australian reefs, I'm happy to say, is still among the healthiest on the planet, and that's without a doubt. But we are now seeing climate change catch up with even them.
The state government is under pressure from the Greens, who say it highlights the need for stronger climate action. The WA government has pledged to reach net zero by 2050, but is yet to pass legislation to help it get there.
WA Labor brought a climate bill into Parliament in December 2023 and they've just let it sit there ever since. We've reintroduced that bill, but critically we've put a 2030 target in it because WA is the only state without one.
what will address this is global action on climate change. There's no doubt about that. And I think the issue there is, like, we have seen some of our big partners walk away from their commitments, and that's what's most alarming, because the efforts that we take here in WA will be paled into insignificance in terms of what those countries do when they walk away from action on climate change.
Back in Exmouth, Kate Quigley and her team at the philanthropic Minderoo Foundation are breeding heat-resilient corals to cope with more frequent marine heat waves.
So can we effectively take for example, heat-tolerant mom coral and a less heat-tolerant dad coral, mix them together and create baby corals that are better able to withstand warming temperatures? While this is really encouraging and we're very happy with these results, especially after such a catastrophic year in terms of warming and bleaching on the reef, it is no silver bullet.
So they're trying to work on the reef, and they actually, working on putting new coral, which is pretty cool.
Above the water,
That's the only thing you can do. It's help. Messi is a goat with a lot of money. If he's a goat. That's funny. So 8:30 there, Leo. That's so good. Because it's not too late, right? Not too late. I like the coral reef. It's so cool. Australia is beautiful, yes. Australia is a country where you have all climates. In the north it's tropical. In the south we get all 4 seasons. But in the north it's mainly tropical. Absolutely stunning. If you go through the Daintree, it's about 180 million year old rainforest. It's the oldest in the world. And the Daintree is, actually they had a cyclone up there and the roads were cut. So people couldn't get through, you know. There's a lot of crocodiles up there. A guy went up like 4 years ago. They were doing a documentary on crocodiles. I think I have it here. I can show you. And the croc jumped and took the camera. So it was quite funny. Crocodiles are not a problem, you know, if you're not walking along. But sometimes you're on a boat and they come up. Stuff that for a joke. I was up there for a while, traveling North Queensland, you know. I'll show you when the croc took the camera all together.
My name's Dane Hurst. I'm an ABC camera operator. I've been working on a crocodile documentary for the ABC. So I got the drone up over a small lagoon at Crocodiles Park, and all the crocs were really skittish. But there was one crocodile in particular that was holding its ground and really eyeballing that drone. I thought, great, I'll use this fellow. He's in a stationary spot. I can get some decent shots of him. I lined the drone up and moved over the top of him, and as I was doing that I looked up towards the lagoon and saw a crocodile vertical out of the water and heard the great clamping noise of a crocodile's jaws coming together. And looked down at my controller, and sure enough it was blank screen and no connection. I thought, oh wow, that was a brand new drone. This is going to be a really hard one to explain to the boss. This is the drone in question. The way we got this drone back was because the crocodile went and fished it out. And luckily for me at the ABC, we've got some very clever technicians. They managed to retrieve the footage.
There you going? They found a funny bug that they never thought existed.
Look away if you're freaked out by mega insects. A new species of giant stick insect has been discovered in a tropical rainforest in far north Queensland. Weighing about the same as a golf ball, it's believed to be the heaviest insect in Australia. Professor Angus Emmett from James Cook Uni found the insect about 20 minutes from his home earlier this year, and he joins us now from Lake Eacham on the beautiful Atherton Tablelands in far north Queensland. Angus, g'day. So tell us what it was like for you when you first came across this mammoth specimen.
Hi, Joe. Yeah, it was pretty neat. A friend of mine, the senior author on the paper that we published in Zootaxa recently, the two of us keep a close eye on photos of insects around on social media, and we get contacted. And Ross, the senior author, Ross Copeland, he received a photo of one from up in this part of the world where I now live. He lives down in Brisbane. And we thought it was new. So we started searching, and it took us a fair while to find it. We ended up finding two, but completely new stick insect, new to science, hasn't been described. So we decided to describe it, and it's a pretty neat insect. It's a very big fella, or a big girl, I should say.
Yeah, this is the clincher. These shots of you, presumably that's you or your mate, holding this thing. It's massive.
They're big. So they're a browny colour with the black coloured wings, but down on the side of the body when they flare the wings out, there's a beautiful green colour along the sides of the abdomen as well. So they're a neat animal.
Yes.
And so how high was it up in the canopy?
That's me. Australia.
Well, I think one of the reasons these are hadn't been described and so poorly known, number one, people wouldn't recognise that they're a new one, but they live up in the high altitude rainforests of the Atherton Tablelands. So they live 900, 1,000 metres above sea level and higher. And they live up in the canopy. So the canopy is anywhere from 20 to 50 metres up. And the only time you actually get to see these animals is if you get a cyclone or a storm that knocks them down to the ground, or a bird attacking them and knocks them down to the ground. Otherwise, they're up and out of sight, like many of the insects in the rainforest.
And so you're pretty sure it's Australia's heaviest insect?
Well, from the research that we've done so far, we can't find anything heavier. The big rhinoceros cockroach that you get up in this part of the world, in the slightly drier country up here, was considered the heaviest. And it's in the 30-gram range, and we've weighed, a friend of ours weighed one of these that was 44 grams.
Wow. And so it's probably the heaviest. Is it definitely the biggest?
There is another stick insect up here, Tenomorpha gargantua, and it grows.
Sounds pretty big.
There's some of the scientific names, so some of them are unpronounceable. I moved up here from out in the Western Queensland Channel Country, and the rainforest plants, I just can't get my tongue around some of them. I guess that's my problem, but yeah, I find it challenging. But the gargantuan stick insect grows to nearly 600 millimetres. Ours only grows to about 400 millimetres, about the length of a person's forearm, but the other one's a very light-bodied insect, so it doesn't weigh much, even though it's longer.
Okay, so what did you do with that first insect or the first couple of insects?
Well, we've only collected two.
Yep.
It's the only two we've killed. They were both females. We don't know the male yet. The male stick insects are usually considerably smaller than the females, but the two we got, we kept them and fed them, and they laid eggs. Because one of the interesting things about stick insects is every species of stick insect has eggs that are somewhat different. So by comparing the eggs to other species in the same genera, it enforced the fact that it's a different species without even doing the genetics. We could tell morphologically that it was a distinct species.
And now you're a retired cattle farmer, Angus. What's it like for you? How did you end up wandering the Atherton Tablelands looking for exotic insects?
Well, I spent all my life on a family place that we've had for over 100 years now. My brother bought it off us, but it's out in the Queensland Channel Country in the arid zone. But I've always been fascinated. I grew up being fascinated with wildlife, plants and animals. And I used to terrify my mother by bringing snakes inside and spiders and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I've always been fascinated. And over the years, I've developed connections with museums and universities across the world. And we used to get lots of visitors from all these unis and museums coming to Noongar. And, yeah, just my fascination just grew and grew. And when the kids decided they didn't want the place, we sold it to my brother and moved up here in the Tablelands where it's nice and cool and it's nice and green, and we don't get flies, sandflies or mosquitoes. We don't get flooded. We don't get burnt.
You get a few pythons.
The plants and animals are just amazing up here.
Yeah. And you've actually got several of them named after you now.
I've probably got about a dozen different species named after me. I'd have to sit down and work it out. But I've also named, in conjunction with Patrick Cooper and a couple of others at the Queensland Museum, I named a new species of dragon lizard after my daughter, and it's called Diporifera ameliae.
That's one you can pronounce.
Yeah, I can pronounce the ones that I've been involved with, but some of the rainforest plants, I just can't get my tongue around them.
Good stuff. Okay, well, keep up your good work there in beautiful far north Queensland. And, we're interested to hear when you come across a male of this species as well.
That's crazy, Journey. Wow. I mean, I've always been at the beach, and not so much as babies, but when they were, always in the water in Australia. Always in the water, but not up in the Daintree. In the Daintree is crazy. Actually, there was a road up there. I can't explain the beauty, I don't think, because the beauty of it is just incredible. He was, hey, Candy Blossom. He was talking about a new kind of insect they found in Australia, a stick insect. And the stick insect, it's so heavy, I think, the biggest they found. Not necessarily the largest, but the heaviest. And that's a stick insect, Candy Blossom. But actually, they live in the top of the trees. And, like, if I don't know if you're from Australia, Candy Blossom, but the Daintree is 180 million years old, that forest up far north Queensland, almost Cape Tribulation. And the rainforest meets... Oh, right. So the rainforest, where it meets the Great Barrier Reef up there. And you know how the trees are so massive. They live up there. Unless a bird knocks them out or slaps them down. So, yeah, they probably have never seen them. But, that cyclone that closed the road up there about a year ago, I think the road is open at the moment. But the poor people that live there, they were stuck there for the longest time. I'm in Melbourne. Melbourne, yes, Victoria down here. Right. Yeah, I've got, there was, a current affairs went up there. Even, we don't have much. We get cold in Melbourne. That's all we get. 4 seasons in one day, eh? South Australia is beautiful. It's a bit more, I think it's a little bit more settled in South Australia, Yeah. I can play it. It's an interesting, because I went up there and they show what the councils do. Nothing,
Meets the Reef, a tourism hotspot With no tourists, forget cyclones and crocodiles, the biggest danger to this slice of North Queensland paradise is the only road in.
When people come to the Daintree, it's iconic.
So many people want to get out and adventure this country.
Cape Trib's a pretty happening place when it is happening. We watched the cyclone from the bar. It was the flooding that came after it.
We expect some disasters, but we also expect that people will be competent in their response to those disasters.
What will happen to this town if they don't fix that road?
And if there's no solution quickly, there will be no more Cape Tribulation.
Secluded and serene, Cape Tribulation is where the Daintree rainforest meets the Great Barrier Reef, the only place on Earth where two World Heritage sites come together. But for the last 3 months, the journey here has been near impossible, a paradise turned prison for the locals left behind.
There's been a mass exodus. People just can't survive.
Our community fabric is slowly unravelling.
When Category 3 Cyclone Jasper tore through far north Queensland in December, it left flooded devastation in its wake.
We were just watching the chest freezers and the barbecue float past as we evacuated.
Homes and businesses were inundated, and the flooding rain also triggered this. A massive landslide that swept the road into Cape Tribulation off a cliff.
It has fallen before, that particular slide, but nowhere near the extent that it has.
Since then, it's barely changed, and as we make our way north to investigate,
there is no access permitted into Cape Tribulation, and the road into Cape Tribulation is closed.
There's confusion from the get-go.
Yeah, apparently they've opened it up again this morning. It's just all hearsay at this point, but that's what the locals are telling me.
This ferry crossing, 2 hours drive north of Cairns, is the gateway to the Daintree. And once you cross, the road only gets narrower. There's minor land slips every few kilometres. Some bad enough to warrant road closures. Workers here have told us it's open for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon, but locals say that's only when the workers are here, and often without warning, they're not. Lucky for us, they're eventually willing to let us through, and from mountainside to creek bed, this is what's left of the road ahead.
There's some serious damage.
The hardest hit location is Noah Range, just minutes away from the Cape Tribulation township. The scale of the landslide clear from the sky and the sea. So the work that's happening to this section of road is slow and...
Sorry, you always see those cones and people apparently working on the streets and there's no one ever there. And they leave the cones there and you got to slow down to bloody 40 Ks, sometimes 30 Ks. And there's nothing happening, and you're stuck. Sometimes in the highways or freeways too, They bloody put the cones and they reckon we walk, they're working on the street, but they're not.
Intermittent, and it dictates when and how locals are allowed to pass through. They've told us sometimes they can bring a four-wheel drive, other times they're made to walk. And once again, when there's no one here, there's no way through.
Emotionally and financially, I think it'll be the end of the town for a lot of people shortly.
Julian and Jackie own the local campground. It's usually filled with families in their caravans and tents. How does it make you guys feel to see it as empty as it is now?
It's really hard for us to see it with nobody here at all. Normally, even over the wet season, we've got a few people coming through, so yeah, very hard to see it completely abandoned for so long.
They'd just finished a major renovation the day before the cyclone hit and are now worried no one will get to enjoy it. This main street would normally be bustling with tourists going out on reef safaris from here, perhaps heading to Cape York up the road, grabbing supplies from the shop or grabbing a drink at the pub around the corner. The children would usually be playing on that playground, but as you can see, there's barely a soul in sight. Forget the pub with no beer. These locals fair dinkum fear they'll have to abandon the tourist town with no tourists if nothing's done.
If we don't get a date for when the road reopens, we will shut our doors. We cannot stay open without tourists. Without a road, we have no business.
It's the same for the Mason family who moved to the area in 1932.
They get a lot of
And
cyclists
have
up
you
there.
ever seen it like this before?
Never been like this.
You're part of a family, a founding family of this area. That must make you so proud. How does it make you feel to see it the way it is now?
Well, it's a disaster, really.
The family business is now run by Anne's son Lawrence. He says he's staring down the barrel of financial ruin.
We quite often have as many as 70 or 80 people booked for lunch, and it's, makes me feel like crying sometimes to watch it like it is now. It's the first time in my 55 years alive that I've considered that I may go broke.
His daughter Amelia is also struggling, forced to stay with one of her teachers 60 kilometres away in Mossman, where she goes to school.
It just kind of feels like a punch in the guts when you feel like you can't come back home. Just this Monday I missed an exam because the road was closed.
They're part of a group of locals now banding together, calling out the Douglas Shire Council for failing to manage the road repairs. They say not enough work was done after the cyclone when the weather was clear, and now a 90-day permit allowing workers to push the soil into the ocean has lapsed, so it has to be carried out by the truckload.
We're just shaking our head at the sheer stupidity that's occurred sometimes.
They should be opening the road and telling us when it's closed. At the moment, they're closing the road and telling us when it's open.
Jeremy and wife Merrin run Cape Trib Farm. Not only have their tourist cabins been left empty, they've also been unable to export exotic fruit from their orchard. How does it make the two of you feel watching a product that you're very proud of rot on the trees?
Oh, it is so frustrating.
So frustrating, he's now running for council himself, while former school teacher Merrin does all she can to help the town's students get to class.
In the past 5 days of schooling, our 2 little Year 1 students have managed to get to school for one day. We've had to fight every inch of the way. We've had to boat them down in rough seas. I honestly didn't think that we would have to fight so hard to get our children to school.
Even four-legged residents have been impacted. The horse rides at Cape Tribulation are a bucket list experience for tourists, but now these ex-racehorses are having their food rationed. Brendan, how dire is the situation becoming?
It's becoming very dire. We've come down to the wire quite a number of times now, and very close to running out of feed.
It's heartbreaking for you to see that, isn't it?
Very much. They're family for us. We live with them all the time, work with them every day. They're like our kids, I suppose.
We want them to visit. We're ready to go. We've cleaned up. We're waiting, but we have no road.
Douglas Shire Council has told A Current Affair it's working toward opening the road
to all vehicles, residents and visitors during daylight hours within weeks.
And
Council is committed to improving engagement and communications with residents and businesses impacted by this disaster.
But residents say without an exact date, they've got no certainty heading into their peak season.
We used to joke just after Christmas that at least we'll be open for Easter. Well, that's not looking like a reality now.
But what's really frustrating about all this is they don't put us first.
How much longer can you stand it like this?
Not much longer.
Yeah.
No, I think we're at the end of our tether now.
Yeah.
We can't really sustain it much longer.
This brilliant device keeps your home cool in summer, even during heat wave.
That was last year and it's open now. In March they opened it.
3 minutes and uses 98.7.
But what they went through, my God, it's crazy.
They are tough, hardworking people and they're at breaking point. The Douglas Shire Mayor, Michael Kerr, joins me. We appreciate your time, Mayor. Can you understand why the locals feel abandoned by you and your council?
Well, I can certainly understand why they're frustrated and why they're angry at the situation, because it's one that just can't be helped. You know, council has to act on what it's told for evidence from the geotechnical engineers as far as safety goes. Safety is the paramount situation, and we are not going to put people's lives at risk.
I think the locals understand the difficulties with this. They also don't want to see anyone's life put in danger, but they want answers and they don't feel they're getting any. So perhaps we can clear that up for them now. When will the road reopen?
So the latest we've had from our geotech engineers is that they're hoping to get that road open before Easter.
So they can start taking tourist bookings for that weekend?
That's correct. And we did have a community meeting up there last Sunday, and we did advise them of this information.
Okay, that doesn't seem to be the message that came from that community meeting. They felt they wanted a timeline, that they weren't given that, and that you didn't even show. So the message that you're saying right now is that the road opens before Easter. Does it then stay open, even if it rains?
From what we've been told, they're going to keep it open as best they can. If there's a massive fall, you know, if we get another rain event like what we had back in the 12th of December, I can't promise that this road will stay open.
Just seeing the damage up there, we're told there's often no one on site fixing the roads at the moment. If I'm perfectly honest, it's very hard to believe that it is opening before Easter.
You know, we have our staff, or the engineers, or the civil engineers we have doing the job up there as much as we possibly can.
So is that a promise, I guess, is what I'm asking? I guess I'm
moving.
Is it that definitive? Are you promising that road will be open by Easter and will stay open unless there is a massive rain event or something catastrophic happens?
The advice that I was given the other day is that is exactly the case.
But are you throwing the resources at it as fast as you can? This happened 91 days ago, and for the majority of the time that our crew was up there, no one was even working on these roads. Last week you had school kids who couldn't get to school, and on one occasion when they did, the roads closed with no warning and they couldn't get home to their families.
10,000 cubic metres of dirt falling down on someone, killing a child, knocking that bus off the range down a 70-metre cliff. That's not what I want. It's
No, but look, no one in this town wants that. No one in town wants that either. But their issue is they feel they've been forgotten. They feel that this has been incredibly slow and it's been mismanaged. And the fact that you're telling me now this will be open for Easter, why do I know this, but the locals on the ground don't?
Well, as I said, there was a public meeting the other day and this information was passed to them.
Okay, so they've got this wrong. But you weren't at that meeting, to be clear. I believe you sent your apologies.
I did send my apologies. I had other commitments on because the meeting got changed because unfortunately the road was closed when it was supposed to happen because there was another major slide and rain on it.
Do you think these people have been looked after enough? I mean, these are people, they don't whinge in the far north Queensland. They are self-sufficient, they pay their rates, yet there has never been town power, water or sewerage. They don't ask for much. They cleaned up the roads themselves after the cyclone and flood, and they cleaned up some of the smaller landslips. And this is one of the very few times they've ever asked for help. And we have seen strong, tough people brought to tears.
They're not alone. This whole shire is hurting. You know, we got damaged like we've never seen before. We have got all the resources we can looking at this serious issue.
So, according to you, everything is being thrown at this, all resources as fast as you can. Is that correct?
That is correct. You know, we can't get lots of people on this slide because it was a dangerous site and it was moving. We were having to do it quite gently and slowly, unfortunately.
Look, I mean, I'm obviously far removed from this, right? I'm just trying to work out where is this disconnect where you're saying you're doing absolutely everything as fast as you can. You have the locals who feel like you are not jumping up and down. You are not making enough noise. You are not demanding the resources and money that's needed from a state and federal government. And their thought is, well, you know what? You're not running for mayor again. Have you checked out?
Absolutely not. I promised this community I'd be here until the end of this term, and that's exactly what I've been.
Well, as I say, I'm not sure how the news didn't get through to the locals. They do not have any understanding that it will be open by Easter, but I'm sure they're going to be very excited. Tourists will be able to come in and out of Cape Tribulation by Easter, correct?
If everything goes to plan and we don't have another massive water landslide, that is what we want.
Okay, because look, I think you would know as mayor up there that this is a place that is so special to all Australians. It being closed to tourists also hurts Port Douglas, it hurts Cairns, all of far north Queensland. So I think people need to know that this is being taken seriously and it will be fixed.
You're absolutely correct. You know, Cape Tribulation is one of the jewels in this tourism crown up here.
So would you encourage all Australians right now to jump online, book a holiday, Cape Tribulation this Easter?
Get onto your booking site, book a flight to tropical far north Queensland, come up, enjoy everything we've got to offer up here.
And if something goes wrong, the Mayor will personally provide that refund, correct?
Thanks, Ali.
Thank you. We're holding you to that, by the way. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
We do mean that.
Yeah, she's excellent. She won so many awards. I love her. Hey, my passerby is here. Yeah. Well, they opened up. I don't know where you are, but yeah, I know you're in Queensland. I was reminiscing about my beautiful Queensland. Fucking miss it, mate. I wasn't feeling too good yesterday and I slept like 10 hours. But I was watching, look at my watch history, the Daintree, the Daintree, the Daintree. And the Great Barrier Reef. Oh my God. And, you know, we can't show this because of, what do you call it? Bloody privacy laws. But when they show you these 7 things to do in the Daintree, all they show is a girl with some dress and miniskirt. I'm like, you don't want to see humans. And you go to Port Douglas. 8 things you can do in Port Douglas. We should watch it, eh? I mean, I haven't seen it. It's probably crap. Oh, back to school lunches. It's good to see you, mate. Yeah, I miss Queensland. I'm shocking. I'm recovering and see what these advertisements.
Come with me as we head off on an exciting road trip from Cairns to Port Douglas. We'll be showing you some great stops along the way, as well as epic activities.
I should mute her. You can read it. Her voice is like...
Eco-friendly wildlife and nature retreat, located only 45 minutes.
Poor thing. That's all right.
Was the most incredible panoramic views.
I mean, you don't go there for food, right? You go there to... Oh, gosh. Anyway. It's the most beautiful part of the world, this is.
Place to see if you can spot a crocodile. Once you arrive in Port Douglas, head to 4 Mile Beach.
Yeah, it's better without noise. Queensland is the most beautiful place on earth. I remember going to the Great Barrier Reef and I thought, okay, I'm ready to go. My God, it's amazing. Look at that. I don't think you want to spot a crocodile. I actually won we were at a pub up in past Cairns and I won a prize. And the prize was going on a boat through the Daintree. And the crocodile farm, oh my God. I was looking at the crocs behind a massive screen and one of the crocs started coming towards me. And I thought, thank God for the bloody fence. But yeah, it disappeared under the water and next minute, it was right next to me. I thought, haha, you can't get me. Because I was behind the... You know, promoting Queensland, I am. Australia's best. I mean, Victoria's beautiful. somebody's song, eh? But look at that. Oh. The frogs. I can't remember who I was talking to. Oh, yeah, Nancy. She's scared of frogs. Oh, the Milky Way. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes, please. Oh, my God. Yes. Local flavors will probably give you kangaroo for dinner, you know? Ah, look at the koala with a shirt. I've never seen a koala with a shirt. But yeah, no, I was looking at the Great Barrier Reef, and they were actually growing. Yeah, they were growing somewhere here. Oh, the turtles. Oh. Yeah, because they were just growing coral, sorry, and taking it back, you know. Here. Yeah, no, it's, you don't want to lose it, you know. Ooh, pasta. Don't show me food. Constable Kenny. Makes me feel like having a chocolate koala, you know, caramello. Caramello. Oh.
Been transformed into a science lab.
This is quite a unique opportunity for us to have this.
Instead of moving cars, the barge is transferring baby corals to the reef faster than ever before, with the hope it'll increase their chances of survival.
Some of our previous research on coral seeding has indicated that the sooner we can get corals into the ocean, the better they do.
Once coral colonies in the ocean have spawned, scientists collect samples to study and examine here on the floating lab.
We'll be putting sun in culture tanks on the vessel, and then we'll also be putting that same cohort of corals into rearing pools on the ocean. And then we'll track how they do over the next 10 days.
Wapabara traditional custodians are involved in the project, learning coral aquaculture techniques to manage sea country into the future and building career pathways.
Bringing all the skills that I've learnt from AIMS back to country, and then for the first time sort of passing on a sciencey sort of research background to our younger generations.
Yeah, ancestors, I'm sure, would love to see our young ones here doing this sort of work and looking after country again.
Keeping coral and culture alive. Rachel McGee, ABC News.
Thank you, Rachel McGee. Rachel McGee. I turn it off, eh? I was watching some feel-good stories. Oh yeah, it smells awful. I've been in the water, and ugh. All along Mackay up north there, I used to jump in the water, well, in winter. The water's beautiful in winter. I do have Russian blood, I think. My DNA said I'm from Whoop Whoop up there where all the Vikings come from. So we jump in cold water. Should do that, actually. We're getting a warm week here today. Oh my God. So good to see you guys. I haven't been feeling 100%. So I hope I don't have an infection or something. All the signs are there, but I can always check in with the doc. I think a trip to Queensland will be the best. Jump on the plane, get off maybe Cairns. I don't know, the air is different up there in far north Australia. The air is cleaner. The city of Melbourne is just, the air is not the same, you know. That's why I miss being up in the bush Even if it is 4 or 5 hours drive, you feel the difference. The minute you pass Ballarat, you're out. You pass Horsham, you're out. And then I pass everything up to the middle of nowhere, near the big desert in Victoria. That's where my little shed is, up there. But yeah, sometimes life throws you bloody mushrooms, you know. That's right. No, it's just nice to see good stories, you know, of reviving certain places that logging or, you know, stuffing up the environment. Hey, do you remember that story of that modeling agent that she had what do you call it? She was contracting people with disabilities, and she was a shocker. And she was working for the NDIS, and they did after they did the show, she asked for a sit down yesterday or the day before yesterday to clear her name. All she always wanted was to be on television and be famous, and they destroyed her. Imagine taking advantage of people with disabilities. I'll show you guys the interview. Unless you can have a bloody laugh.
You should probably take that down, though.
There you go.
With CommBank, you can.
No, you can't.
She promotes herself as a modelling agent with a difference, and she is different, all right. Accused of financially exploiting her clients, telling one she wasn't dark enough and others to look more disabled for photo shoots.
Oh, she's a shocker.
She believes she's the one being victimised and wants to defend herself.
As I'm a white Aboriginal, she made me look like a dark Aboriginal.
She told you to look more Aboriginal?
Yeah.
You are kidding me.
Yeah, she tried to make me look dark.
This woman is shameful. She needs to be stopped.
It takes a lot to shock us at a current affair, but
Yeah.
Monique Jeremiah is unlike anyone we've ever met.
We meet again. Nice to see you again. You too. Take a seat.
Thank you.
You demanded a sit-down interview, so yeah, here it is.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time at A Current Affairs, Arisha.
Monique's always dreamed of a career on camera.
And my dream would be to be a TV presenter, just like you, a reporter, just without university, but that's okay.
She's entered beauty pageants, appeared on dating shows.
I'm a farm virgin.
Yeah, okay. Now she runs Diversity Models, an NDIS-registered disability modelling agency.
I was being taken advantage of with payments. I was pretty upset.
You were told to look more disabled.
Yeah. Because you know what? Any PR is good PR. And you know what? I am proud of what we do. And this interview does not even bother me one bit.
There's not many people we expose that demand to be on A Current Affair again, but Monique did.
So what are you hoping to get out of it?
Well, today, more than anything, to clear my personal name, Monique Jeremiah, and to also clear the company name of Diversity Models.
We were prepared for the unexpected, and she arrived with a hair extension in her hand.
I just wanted to show you my hair, which had to be removed. Because you like my new hairstyle?
It's great.
It's not even from a haircut. It's not even professionally done. This is the first time I've even sat in Channel 9 after all my years of being in the spotlight.
I am shocked that you did want a sit-down interview, but it is great timing because I do have a lot of fresh allegations to put to you. So do you remember Janata, your former model?
Yes, Janata was with our agency, correct, yes.
She claims that you told her to look more Aboriginal.
Janata is Indigenous, yes.
She is?
Correct.
And she claims you told her she needs to look more Aboriginal and you did this to her face.
She's Indigenous.
She is Indigenous, but why did you darken her face?
It doesn't matter. I'm her makeup artist. I prepared her for her shoot.
She tried to make me look more Aboriginal by putting tanning lotion on first, but it didn't work. And then I ended up having a rash, bad rash and swollen face. And then after that, she put dark foundation on that didn't even suit my skin colour.
The shoot Janata was hired for was actually a government ad campaign in Brisbane to act as an airport employee.
She's Indigenous. She was hired because she's Indigenous.
I had everyone staring at me at the airport, and my family told me, you don't even look, that's not your even colour skin. Your natural colour is white, Aboriginal. Be proud of who you are.
Monique, are you a racist?
No. Sarisha, what a stupid comment to make. Do you not see this face in front of you is actually a multicultural face?
It's very sickening. It's very sickening, and people like her shouldn't be in the NDIS in any form whatsoever.
Cleo was hired by Monique to do hair and makeup on her models.
To find out that they were paying $425 for what I was getting paid $50 to do, that absolutely shocked and disgusted me.
And we've got one of Monique's invoices from a model Cleo prepared to prove it.
$50 per model she was doing hair and makeup for, but the models were paying you $425. How is that fair?
Do you run a business, Sarisha?
That's irrelevant.
No, it's not irrelevant. I'm sorry, Sarisha, but the fact that a student makeup artist is questioning how much she gets paid.
Monique even tried to get Cleo work in front of the camera to model products.
Underwear for people that cannot control their bladder. She gave me an opportunity to be on an ad that would be embarrassing. I have got a disability, but not a disability at all that leads to incontinence.
We found these photos of Monique, who admits to transforming herself into a Middle Eastern disabled woman for a campaign.
This was before Diversity Models was actually an agency. Well, you know what? They couldn't find any models that could be cast to match the brief.
All I wanted was to get back into the scheme of work and have purpose and stability.
Hayley is a legally blind woman and also has functional neurological disorder. She came on our show to expose Monique. Alongside Brandon, he lives with cerebral palsy and claims Monique was trying to underpay him for a modelling shoot.
I just got messages from Monique saying that the payment was going to be $500 for me. When we got to the location of the photo shoot in Queensland, noticed the number completely different, saying $1,300 for every single model.
The producer then refused to pay Monique's agency, instead transferring the money directly to each model.
If she didn't step in, each of us would have only been given the $500 that Monique wanted to give us, and Monique would have taken the rest for herself.
Since Brandon spoke up, Monique announced this on her business Facebook page.
Please be advised we will be terminating Brandon Mirazai immediately.
But he was a contractor at your company and you publicly announced his termination. Fair Work are investigating you over this.
Well, you know what? Fair Work can deal with me. This is completely separate. Brandon was paid very well.
But what Monique did to Hayley was even worse, belittling her in a now deleted hour-long YouTube rant.
But let's see what the journalist said. For this hair and makeup on Hayley, Monique, her hair doesn't even look done. Well, of course it's not done properly like every other model that we deal with because she doesn't have enough hair.
Monique then publicly disclosed Hayley's private email, date of birth and NDIS number.
But if you care so much about people with disabilities, why would you publicly release information on Hayley, private information? She's been in tears over it.
Oh, has she?
Yes.
Well, crocodile tears, was it?
So you will not apologise for doing that?
Absolutely
You
not.
stand by that?
I stand by that because I stand by exposing the truth.
Why did you delete your video then?
Why? Because I have a right to do what I can do.
I felt for Hayley, what Monique did. We got disabilities, but we can prove that we don't need a walking stick or be looking black.
A Current Affair understands the NDIS Commission is now aware of the YouTube video.
She didn't want to go on our trip because she gets seizures. And in fact, that's the reason we cancelled her. But I have sent
Monique,
you
you
evidence.
were questioning her disabilities.
Of course I am.
It's not a good look.
Isn't it?
For
it's not a
someone
good
that's
look.
supposed to care for people with disabilities.
Well, you know what? I've still got my NDIS registration.
But Monique has had her Entrepreneur of the Year nomination revoked and speaking gigs cancelled.
Great.
In fact, I had so many community engagements and sponsorships up until November.
Now they're all gone.
They're all gone. But you know what?
I wonder why. Isn't it time to look at the mirror and say, do I actually care about disabled people?
Actually, I
or
do.
I only care about my own fame and fortune?
No, again, that's where you have been twisting the story.
Can I ask what the hair extension is for?
The hair extensions that you see right here had to be ripped out in hospital. I had symptoms of a stroke.
Well, Monique, I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you know?
Are you telling me you had a stroke?
I am now at risk of stroke. Based on this report, this is on the way to having a disability. So yes, would I be eligible for NDIS now? Yes, I would.
5 minutes.
How do you feel about that?
So you can apply
if I wish to,
because you almost had a stroke?
Because this is a potential disability on its way. But I still came to do this interview. That should show you that I am very strong.
That she needs to be stripped of her NDIS registration with no doubt.
All I can say is don't go to diversity models.
I am the fan of diversity models, and there's absolutely no way I'm going anywhere.
Monique, I think you have had enough airtime, so I'll probably have to wrap up the interview now.
Thank you.
You're free to go if you'd like. Thank you.
Wow, when she wanted her say, she got it. Would you believe we've had even more complaints about Monique, and I doubt that's the end of it just yet.
That's it. What do you reckon? It's amazing, isn't it? Really. I posted and the bloody thing wants to keep going. Commercials. Hello. Piece of work, right? I'm going, bitch. I mean, I was doing myself foreign disabilities when I got disabled. Nah, not disabled, but not well, you know. I mean, you gotta respect. My God. Sorry, the TV's still going. I'm knitting away. Got the letter from the hospital. They sent 2 letters. They're always so very official. How you guys going, all right? I slept so much. I did brush my hair and I always have hair sticking out everywhere. So yeah, I got 2 letters. One is for there you go. 11th. Sarcoma. And the other one is for oh yeah, the X-ray. X-ray of the femur and X-ray of the hip pelvis. I don't know why, but I think they want to check everything, make sure the implant is okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up, and I shall see you with the next story when I stop missing Queensland. It's good to see you all. I'm gonna need for a bit, have some lunch, because it's lunchtime here. I've been up since 4. I love my little stories and updates about Australia. Some are crazy. Some are good, some are funny. Why not, right? Instead of always complaining. All right. Love yous. Bye. I think the chat is frozen as well. Same to you. Like Fares, I'll talk to you soon. We'll always chat on WhatsApp. It's always good to see you guys. Later. Bye.